is just by showing more gratitude to the world. It's up to us to change our country. Each of us, however we do that. I'm hopeful for good things to come from our newly elected government officials, all of them, and I'm hoping that God is with them, and I pray for them, as I hope many of you do as well, no matter who they are, and I would have done that no matter who won or whatever the outcomes of the election were. But I do know, no matter what, that as I talked, what happened on Wednesday morning was more important than what happened on Tuesday. That I know that it's up to me and up to churches and people of faith to carry the load. That we can have more of an impact than any other institution in our lives on our world. So what can I be grateful for? Well, personally for me, there's the obvious things and people that I need to be grateful to. There's my mom and my dad and my brother and all the people here in the church and other people in my family that have done so much for me over the years. There's the church I used to go to in Virginia, who without them there's no way I'd possibly be here today. There's people who have shared things in their lives in my Sunday school class, like Teresa and David, who I have no way to know how to express gratitude for them, but maybe mentioning them here today is the best I can do. And kind of as a side note, if you want to learn about being grateful, spend 10 minutes with Teresa and David, maybe 15. And I know they don't mind sharing it, but let them tell you their story. Teresa nearly lost her life. How many years ago? 2008. In 2008, in a car accident. Yeah. And you will not find a person in this room more grateful to be alive and to Jesus than Teresa Roach. That I will tell you. There's a lot of good people in this room. A lot of good people with big hearts. But that woman right there knows how to express it every day out loud to so many people. I don't know how she gets anything else done in a day because her list of people she prays for is huge. She used to say, I pray for everyone in my church, and I would be like, there's no way she does that. I guarantee you Teresa does that, among other things. So I won't share any more because then I'll cry again. Well, it would just be the 5th Sunday in a row I've done that. But spend some time with them today if you get a chance. And I know they don't mind sharing their story. It's really, really powerful. But in my life, there's the things that aren't so obvious. There's the way that I know that my mail's going to come every day, courtesy of Sam Kramer Jr. most days, and that it's going to be in the right spot. Believe it or not, I should be grateful for that because in many parts of the world, you don't get something like that. And I've been to one or two of those places, and even in other parts of the country, it doesn't happen so easily and so obviously right around 2 o'clock every single day. And that I can rely on that and know that I will get those bills that I'm so anxious to see. But I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the people in our world that do those things that we don't have in other parts of the world. And we should think about that. What it might be like to leave your country, and I've met some people who have, and write a letter home because where you're from there's no internet or telephone or cell phone service, and that letter may take months to get there if it even gets there because who knows who's in charge of your town or village at this time. Places like Georgia and the Ukraine, not Georgia the state, Georgia the country, and places in Africa experience turmoil all the time, and in other parts of the world. Things like getting the mail are pretty unreliable, and we take those for granted. Tuesday, I have a place nearby here that I can take my car to get fixed pretty conveniently, and I've already talked to him, and because I think it's going to take a major expense, we're going to work out a little budget plan. I'm grateful to raise stuff for that. This is kind of sad marketing here for him too as well, but and he's not related either. He's still doing me that favor because in many other parts of the world, people have never even ridden in a car. I get to pick which garage I'm going to go to fix my car and work out a plan for the guy to pay him back for doing it. I'm grateful that there's a highway close by to take me to a lot of places. I've been to parts of the world where that's a long time ago. It wasn't necessarily the case for those people, and I know many of you have been to those places as well. It sounds silly, but we have that here, where other places don't, and it makes our life so much better. I'm also grateful, because this is something I truly worried about when moving back to Pine Grove, that there is a sushi place within 20 minutes of here. I was spoiled in Virginia and had like choice of 3 or 4 within 10 minutes, and granted it's 20 minutes, but I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful that we've become a place that is more open to those types of restaurants, because I need my sushi every now and then. It's daily things like that that I'm grateful for. Yesterday morning I was taking the trash out back, I looked down the alley, and a Pine Grove police officer had pulled over his car and was dealing with 3 boys. But what he was doing was playing basketball with those 3 boys. Full gear, all this stuff on them, going to 25. I wouldn't have made it to 10, but I heard, and he knew the boys by their names. You know, I'm grateful that I live in a town where that occurs, and where the boys were happy to do that with him. In all honesty, even in my childhood, and I had great respect for the police officers in town, they wouldn't have stopped and played basketball with the kids. But we have police officers now in our town who will. I think that's pretty amazing. In our church, I'm grateful for the musicians and the work that they do, for Carol and Francis and Heather, and today Micah, for being here. Do you know how rare it is these days, or how rare it's becoming to find an organist? Please don't retire. But I know you have to one day. But Francis is never going to retire. You know that. It's hard, and we need to tell her how grateful we are for that more often. I'm grateful that in a year's time, and I truly have to be grateful to God and to all of you for this, because I never, ever would have thought we'd be at this point, that in a year's time, our attendance and our giving has doubled. Now, there's still a lot of room. There's a lot of room in the giving too, but we'll leave that alone until next year. We're skipping Stewardship Month this year. But I'm grateful for the increases that have come. To double in a year is pretty miraculous. That's nothing but God. That's not me, it's not you. Probably it's all of us together, but that's because God, I know, has been working among us. There's people around here who do so much, and I'm grateful to each of you for all of that. This morning after church, I forgot to announce it, we're going to be delivering bread to, I don't know what neighborhood we're going to yet, we haven't decided, but we've done this 5 or 6 times now. I think 7, today will be 7 times, and we're going to deliver 25 loaves of bread to people in our neighborhood. And I'm not only grateful to Skip for picking it up, and Fawn for making the stickers, and everybody for receiving that idea when I brought it, which we used to do in Virginia. I stole it from them. But I didn't steal it, I kind of brought it there too. So it is my thing, yeah. So I'm grateful to the people who will receive us and smile at us when we give them just a simple loaf of bread. Those who come in early to make the coffee or having a pass, those who bring in baked goods, those who are preparing for all the special events around here, the new library out front that we have. Pine Grove finally has a library, although it's the size of a doghouse. We got a library. And this church made that happen. I'm grateful for the groups that meet here, the Boy Scouts and the Cub Scouts, and on Friday evenings, Gamblers Anonymous, and Sunday evenings, Alcoholics Anonymous, that they had the courage to come here, or knew that they would find a welcoming space here. I'm not sure they knew it, but they found one, and we're grateful to have them, because those are needs that our community has, and I'm glad that this church has allowed those to go on. There's so many other things, and I don't know how to express that gratitude other than publicly saying it now. Yes, I still think there's more for this church to do. If I ever stop pushing this church to do more, you need to fire me. If I ever stop making mistakes, I'm not working hard enough. So, we'll keep that in mind. But we need to go beyond our walls, even more than what we do. Jesus worked without any walls whatsoever, and without a place that he went to every Sunday, or at least the same place. But we're off to a good start. In fact, I'd say we're off to a better start than most places around here. And I'm not only proud of that, I'm grateful to all of you for that. For the great blessings we've received, and not only more people coming, but giving being up so we can do more, smiles being up, and just the general atmosphere of this place being really, really great. I think that's just God returning to us, but we're finally returning to God. Or not finally, but doing again in our lives. For our community, I think we should be grateful, one, for just the natural beauty around this area. It's a really pretty place to live. And we have a lot of stuff around here we can enjoy. If you're a soccer player, there's more soccer fields in this town per capita than any place I've ever experienced before. There's lots of stuff for children to do, especially those who are in athletics or scouting. And the people are always talking about trying to bring new programs. Volunteerism is really, really pretty high in this community, though we would love to see more. Generally speaking, compared to other places I've been, there's a lot of people that sacrifice their time and knowledge in this area. I'm grateful too because I'm starting to see a new shift in the town since I've been here. Things are looking a little brighter on the streets. Some of that is due to some of our people cleaning up the streets. I'll toot our horn a little bit. I noticed yesterday some new lights going up down at the canal, and that'll be a new addition this year when they turn those on. I've noticed the change that even just the corner of town where Warner's has refurbished, or actually not refurbished, but reclaimed an area that would have otherwise been an abandoned factory. There's things like that that are starting to occur, and there's conversations that are occurring more. I think that's good because at least we're talking about it, and eventually we'll have to take action on it. For me, I think just for this borough, what a tremendous thing it would be if we could just somehow, and I don't know how, find a way to bring 50 jobs, good jobs, not part-time jobs, not jobs where you have to need other assistance, but somehow inside the borough, not the township, Bruce, I'm sorry, but you guys got 81 and that's cool, but we don't have that in the borough. Manufacturing jobs. I don't think we'll ever see the days where we had 8 or 9 mills in town going. I know that. But trust me, 50 good paying jobs in this community would do a world of good. A world of good. And I think we should be grateful to those who are trying to do those things or new efforts that may come for that, and also encourage our leaders to look for those things. For our country, I'm grateful, believe it or not, for the controversial issues we have. And here's why. We talk about things and argue about things like health care, economy, jobs, spending, equal rights, protection of rights we already have, and we argue a lot about that. And the thing is, people are always going to see things differently. In fact, I might change my opinion on some of these week to week. But I'm grateful for those issues because what I see in it oftentimes is people that are really concerned about those, which means whether you agree with them or not, they're concerned about fellow man. Whether you think or whatever you think should be done with the healthcare system and insurance in our country, the idea that you're thinking about it means that you're concerned for others beyond yourself. And I'm glad for that. At least I hope you're concerned for others beyond yourself. If you want more jobs in this country, I'm assuming that you mean that not just for you, but for others as well. Or if you want to protect your rights, whatever that may be that you already have, I believe then that you would want to protect the rights of others as well who maybe don't have the same rights. Now, I do think that rather than fighting, we should do as Grateful Dead said in their song and remember to bring the love to the table a little bit more often. Maybe I should be more grateful that we have people who care to work on these problems than I am about whatever the outcome may be. Because in the end, it shows that people are expressing their love for God by loving each other. The World Bank says that to be below the poverty line, you would exist on $1.25 a day or less. That's for the whole world. To be considered being in poverty, you would live on $1.25 a day or less. Now that takes into a lot of factors and it's pretty complicated to understand. I'm not sure I quite get it, but everybody here is above the poverty line. I'm grateful for that. Everybody I know in my life is above the poverty line when we look at the entire world. I'm grateful that we live in a place like that because according to the World Bank, 1.4 billion people do not live above the poverty line. And that number has gone up 500 million since 2004. Now, I know people could argue these statistics, and I get it. I'm just taking it on its face value as what it says, but it seems to make some sense to me. And it's increased by 500 million since 2004. The U.S. population is not even 500 million. So, in other words, since 2004, our entire country has been added to the poverty level in our world. But for the most part, those of us in America don't experience that for whatever reason. And we should be grateful for that. In fact, to be considered below the poverty line in the United States, if you just take that as its own, the World Bank says you would live on $10 a day or less. Willing to bet everybody here is above the U.S. poverty line as well. But here's the really amazing thing. For the world over, it's $1.25. For the U.S., it's $10 a day. That tells you the difference in what poor is here and what poor is somewhere else. And that also tells you the difference between the cost of living in places too. There's a lot of factors to that. China, and I hate to say this, has seen the biggest, because I'm not a fan of communism, as I'm assuming most of us are not, but China has seen the biggest drop in their poverty, and in fact, when it has dropped, they account for almost all the reduction